All right. Hello, solopreneurs. Today's community session is how to actually use AI in your business and not just for content. So, if you are building a business for the long game, not just trying to keep up with whatever AI hack is trending, I want you to stay with us. So, now as we get started, I want to welcome my M360 members who are right here in the room with me. So, for those of you watching the stream on YouTube, welcome. We've got 30 minutes or so together, and then our members and I will sign off to our private discussion and implementation. So thank you for being here. Make sure to check the show notes for more details and resources, and like and subscribe so you'll know when our next session is coming. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is actually happening right now? All right, AI is everywhere. Everyone is talking about it, and many are using it. And for most solopreneurs, the main way that they're using it is for content. How many of us are, really got started with AI to just help with all that content, right? Those words, the explanations, how to get them to come out right. So we got help. We got help writing posts, writing emails, comments on LinkedIn, right? Yeah, that's what everyone is doing. And that's exactly why I want to start here, because that is the least valuable way to use this technology. If you are using it to pump out posts, you're just adding to the noise. And I got to tell you, in 2026, noise is a liability and not an asset. I need you to hear that again. With all the incessant flood of AI content and slop, noise is a liability, not an asset for small business in 2026, right? So, what I want us to understand here is that AI is a thinking tool, it is a structural tool, it is a decision support tool. Today is about how we actually use AI to run our business, right? As that thinking tool, as that structural tool, as that decision support tool. If we are only using it to write captions, you're using about 10% of what it's actually able to do for you. So we are going to focus on the other 90%, right? The part that gives you leverage, not just more things to post about. So what we want to do is we want to go from create for me and think for me to help me think, right? What does this look like in practice? So again, most of us are approaching AI with that create for me mindset. We want an output. We want the task off our plate so we can hit publish and move on. But when we do that, we skip the most important part of business, of your business, and that is the thinking. And I know that sounds simple, but this really matters. And I need you to hear this. Your business is not built on how much content you produce. It is built on how clearly you share your thinking, your approach, your ideas. If you ask AI to write me a post about consistency, it's going to give you something like stay consistent, show up, keep going, believe in yourself. And at this point, if you're tired and you're like, you know what, cool, that sounds fine, I guess I'll post it. Here's the issue though, that post could have come from anyone. There's no perspective, there's no edge, there's no real experience in it. It's just a polished version of what everyone else is saying. It sounds passable, but it has no you in it. No you. And that is a problem. Because the real truth here is that people don't follow you because you said something correct. You gave information that was accurate. They follow you because you said something specific, something they felt, something that made them go, oh, yeah, that is exactly it. AI gives you average. It gives you what has already been said in just a slighter, cleaner way, right? Slightly cleaner way, little, improvement, but it's not you. It's already been said. It's the collective of what's already been said. So why does this matter? This becomes a business problem because now your content isn't building anything. It's not building trust. It's not building demand. And it's not helping someone understand why they should work with you. So, again, the shift that we want to go to is from create for me to help me think. So, instead of asking, write this for me, we need to start asking, help me think this through. And that's the shift that we're making today. So, what we want to look at here is instead of asking for that finished product, we're going to start asking for structure, clarity, and friction. right? So let's walk through a few ways to get better, support for our business while we're using AI. So we want to look here to really see how this works. We have to look at the difference between a lazy prompt, where we just want the task done, and a leverage prompt, where we want our thinking to be better. So we're going to look at 3 ways that we can use this today. All right. So the first one is we're going to go from clutter to getting clarity. So the example that this might look like here is our lazy prompt is going to say, write me a sales page for my new workshop. And what that's going to do is it's us asking AI to guess our value. It is a shortcut that's going to lead to generic fluff on that page. So for the leverage prompt, we want to go into something like, look, I have a brain dump for my new workshop. It's a mess. Don't write the page yet. Just help me find the skeleton. Based on this text, what is the big idea? What is the primary transformation? What are the 3 biggest objections that I haven't addressed? Now we aren't just getting, now it's not just words, right? We're getting an architecture. Something we can actually build on. So let's give a few more cases for the same approach. Good here. So this one we're going to look at is going from polish to perspective. All right, polish. So we're usually asking it to make it look better. No, what we want to do is actually get a better perspective. All right, so here in this case, our lazy prompt is rewrite this to sound more professional, right? Or insert whatever, more fun, more whimsy, whatever it is. This is how we accidentally scrub our personality out of our work. It makes us sound like everyone else. So the leverage prompt is, here's a draft of my latest article. I want it to be punchy and direct. Instead of fixing the grammar, audit the logic. Where am I being too vague? Where am I making assumptions the reader won't follow? And where did I lose my edge? This is using AI to hold up a mirror so we can see our own blind spots. All right? Another version we have here is from answers to options. Right? From answers to options. So instead of just telling me what I should do, help me figure out my options. So let's see what that looks like in practice. The lazy prompt says, give me a strategy to get more clients. This is putting us in a situation to look for a magic pill. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us some sort of top 10 list that we've already seen on Google of all the different strategy ideas. Post here, try that, write this, run a challenge, all the same things. So the leverage prompt is I am choosing between 2 marketing directions. Idea A or direction A is blah, 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 and you put your brain dump there. Direction B, all of this stuff, brain dump there. Then you say, based on business for the long game philosophy, or whatever else that you're focused on, break down the consequences of both of these options. What is the hidden cost of direction A or direction B that I'm not seeing? We are not asking for an answer. We're asking for decision support. This is where we're using AI to broaden the room so we can make the final call ourselves, right? One other way for us to look at this is to go from chaos to process, okay? From chaos to the structure. So what that's going to look like here, the lazy prompt is asking, how do I stay more consistent with my marketing, right? And what is it really going to tell us, right? It's looking at, it's going to give us a pep talk. We're going to get a list of tips like set a schedule, batch your content. And we already know that, and we're still not doing it. So what is the leverage prompt? The leverage prompt says, I have a manual process for my weekly newsletter that currently takes me 4 hours and feels chaotic. Here are 10 things I usually do in no particular order. Paste your whole mess. I need you to turn this into a repeatable 5-step workflow I can follow every Tuesday to get it done in 90 minutes. Point out where I can automate and where I'm wasting time. Do you have an idea of like what kind of responses you're going to get from that versus the how do I stay more consistent? Because we're not asking for advice, we're asking for systems. You know how much I love systems, right? So we're taking the friction out of the work so we can actually stay in the game. So those are some really great examples. As you explore those, I want to give a couple of notes quickly about where not to use it. Okay, we got to get clear about the boundaries here, because if we use these tools in the wrong places, we're going to undo all the trust that we've worked to build. If we sound like AI, we've already lost. So do not use it for your voice. Do not ask it to sound like me. It can't, right? Don't use it for your stories. AI has not lived your life. It doesn't have your scars and it doesn't have your wins. Your real opinions, anything that requires a hot take or a stand must come from us. People don't connect to be polished, right? They don't connect to that polished perfection. They connect to real. We use AI to build the skeleton of the business, but we are the only ones who can provide the heartbeat. All right? Keep that in mind. So important. So, when we actually sit down to do this, we gave you some examples, right? But this is not about some perfect prompt. It's really about understanding how to work with it. So when you sit down to actually do this, how do we stop writing those lazy prompts? Well, we're going to use this simple three-part framework here: context, task, and filter. Most of us just give a task, write me a post, do this. And that is why the output is, quite frankly, kind of garbage sometimes, right? So this is the leverage framework that we want to look at. Okay. The leverage framework is first context. Who are you? Who do you help? And what are you working on right now? Right? Context. Give me the little world that we're in. What's the actual task? The specific thinking job we want it to do. Do we need it to audit, to structure, to clarify? And then the filter, right? What are the constraints? I need it to be simple, or find the flaws, or don't write any copy yet, right? That is the filter. So what might that look like? So there's an example down here on the slide. I help solopreneurs build long game businesses. Here is a messy outline for my next session. We're going to paste all that. Your task is to audit the logic. Tell me where I'm being too vague, right? And the filter might be keep your feedback practical and blunt. All right, so again, we're using context, task, and filter to set up the right prompt for the depth of what we need. So ultimately, the takeaway for today is to stop asking AI to create for us and start asking it to clean up our thinking, right? When we use it as a partner instead of a ghostwriter, it doesn't replace us, it makes us sharper. It gives us the leverage to stop doing the busy work and start doing the deep work. So that is where we're at today. I hope that was very helpful. Definitely check the show notes so you can get any of the resources that we shared today. For our Mastery 360 members, it is time for you to stay in the room. It's time to get messy. We'll continue our conversation and practice what we learned today. And to our YouTube audience, thank you for joining us for the strategy portion of today's session. We hope this changes the way you look at your screen the next time you open your AI tool. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe and be notified of our next session. So, and again, check those show notes, connect with us, or check out an M360 member session, and we'll see you next time. Bye.